Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. 2 more playoff games here on Wednesday night. I've got both of them in this episode with matchups and insight data that you need to go ahead and get your plays down here on Wednesday. Obviously getting this out pretty late here on Wednesday morning/afternoon, so really just want to get right into it. So if that all sounds good, give this video a like. Let's jump right into things. Kicking it off with the Lakers and the Timberwolves back in LA for this one, as the Lakers are trying to stave off elimination down 3-1. If you look at the Game 5 notes, it's really all about what happened in Game 4, because we saw Rui, Doncic, LeBron, Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith. They played the whole second half, right? Not just some of it, all of it. And what that did was change matchups, right? The matchups got completely rearranged as a result of all this. We saw a lot of different guys guarding different guys, specifically for the Lakers, right? So we're going to get into those matchups here in one sec, because that's going to impact these props a ton. Ant-Man, coming off that 43-point banger, had a really good game the whole game. Honestly, 19 points in the first half and then 24 in the second half to really close things out and take that game and take full control of this series. The only thing I would bring to people's attention is Ant had a great game in the closeout versus Phoenix in the first round last year, dropped a 40-piece in that one. However, in the other couple closeout games and opportunities that he had throughout the rest of the playoffs, not nearly as good, failing to get to 20 points a couple times. So we got to keep all that in mind, but it is the first round. It's Ant against the Lake Show. I think he's ready to show out. Let's get into these matchups and how this stuff might affect things. Real quick, though, just wanted to show you the second half box score for this Lakers team and show you that this is the 5 that played the entire time. Plus minus of 0 because they tied in the second half. Just wasn't enough for the comeback, obviously, as they lost that first half. And the things that stand out to me here are Rui had 13 points, mostly because Rudy's guarding him. We'll talk about that in a minute. LeBron, 5 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. The thing that stands out to me more than anything is 3 blocks, 1 steal, 4 stocks, as we call it, right, in one half. And that's heavily predicated on the matchup change that we saw in this second half of this game. So we're going to talk about that in a second. Austin Reeves, 17 points with Ant guarding him, which normally you would think might be a tougher matchup for him. Ant exerting so much energy on offense. I wonder if he's going to continue to be able to be such a shutdown defender on defense the way that he has in the past. Luka, 17 points, but zero rebounds in the second half. Also predicated on the matchup. Get into that in one second. And then DFS just trying to do everything, man. He did end up with 7 boards, probably because he's chasing Ant into the lane so much that was how he ended up trying to get some little misses that Ant had here and there. But not much for DFS in the way of props necessarily. He's just going to continue to play as much as he did in this last game because one of the only 5 guys that JJ Redick trusts. So let's kick it with the Timberwolves on offense as we jump into these matchups. This is, the Timbies are going to start the same guys: Conley, Edwards, McDaniels, Randall, Gobert. Here's the difference. Reeves going to be on Conley, DFS on Edwards. Pretty self-explanatory and understandable. LeBron James is on Jaden McDaniels instead of Luka. Luka is on Julius Randle instead of Jaden McDaniels, right? Now, and then Rui and Rui go at it. Rudy. Got it. They guard each other. Doncic and Randall is the interesting thing here, because Randall didn't really take advantage of that in the second half, but James guarding McDaniels left him open to be sort of the free safety, which we talk about. That's a big reason why it looks like JJ took LeBron off of Julius Randle, was to give him freedom on defense to help off of the guy he's guarding. And he didn't want him helping off of Julius Randle, leaving a guy open who's scored more than 20 in the last 3 games for Minnesota, right? So for this matchup, like, first of all, probably going back to Randle, right, on the points if he's got Luka on him. And then James, we can look at stocks, steals, and blocks. We can look at rebounds, because if he's playing off of the guy's shooting, he's in position to go get the board, right? And Jaden McDaniels, probably not going to be taking that many shots if LeBron's anywhere near him. Plus, he's not a focal point of the offense. The only reason Jaden McDaniels has been getting shots in this matchup is because Luka was guarding him, and that ain't the case anymore. So, like LeBron for some of those ancillary stats in this one. And then if you look at the other side of the ball and the way that the Lakers are on offense, pretty much status quo. JMD McDaniels here on Doncic, Edwards on Reeves, which I talked about seems like a bad matchup for Reeves, but if Ant is going to be taking 30 shots or whatever, then it's going to make him more tired on defense for sure. But then Conley on DFS, which is fair. I mean, maybe you like some offensive rebounds for DFS in this situation, like he had a couple in the last game as well, because he's got an easier matchup with who's guarding him. Still not really the guy that I'm targeting for the Lakers, especially if you're taking overs here with them on offense. As always, going to be using Props Madness here on the show to go through these player props with you. This is the #1 sports betting research tool for NBA player props, as well as the W, by the way, once we get into the summertime with the ladies hoops as well. If you do want to try out this platform, use code LYB. That'll get you a 7-day free trial if you're interested in testing it out. Also gets you 25% off on your first month If you're interested in jumping in, could not recommend this more highly. It's really the only thing I need outside of like one or two tiny little other really NBA specific sites. This is it. I could just use this and get what I need with all the filters and everything it has. But let's kick it off with Luka here. I mean, I'm certainly not going to fade this just assassin on offense with the points. The assists have not been there quite as much, but this is what has certainly not been there as much with the Lakers, and that's the rebounds, right? And I already took the under on his boards here, gave that out in the VIP. We got plus money on this. Looks like you can still get plus money on under 8.5 at plus 110 on DraftKings if you're interested. And like what it comes down to is, first of all, let's just look at him games with LeBron James, basically just saying since he came to the Lake Show, right? So there's, I believe, a few more than 20. He's now played 27 games with LeBron. He's averaging 7.5 boards per game. He's under in 21 of 27, even on 8.5. This opened at 9.5, and I know why, but the key thing here too is the rebound chances. 12 rebound chances per game with this team. Now, you might say, well, on the season he's at 8.1 rebounds, right? And this is mostly with the Mavs. And on the season for his rebound chances, he's at 13. So you're saying, well, he only needs 13 rebound chances to get 8 boards. If he's getting 12, though, first of all, that's a very high rate. And why is that such a high rate for him? Why is he so successful on his rebound chances of getting those actual boards? When he was on the Mavs, it was because of two main reasons. One, they hid him on defense. They did not put him up top. They kept him down low, guarding whomever was in the corner. And then when there were easy rebound chances, a lot of the guys on the Mavs purposefully left those rebounds for Luka so he could start the transition, right? That's not the case here. They are trying to hide him on defense, but I would argue not even, because now they're putting him on Julius Randle as a means to allow other guys to help off, like LeBron James. But he's just not going to be guarding a guy who's not taking shots anymore, right? Like Jaden McDaniels, guy who stands in the corner. Now that LeBron's guarding him, that's why we like LeBron rebounds more. Now that Luka's not guarding him and he's guarding Julius Randle, who's also a way better rebounder than Luka is, well, now we definitely don't like Luka rebounds. So we really like the under here. And it's the same concept for just this game, these playoff games here. He had one game where he had 18 rebound chances, got 12 boards in that 9-point win where Minnesota was missing a lot there in game 2 to help the Lakers win their only game of the series. I'm not worried about other than that. In the other games, we're talking about 14 rebound chances, 12, and 5 in this last one. And the 5 is really what I'm honing in on. Like, I don't know if he's going to get 10 rebound chances again in this game when he's guarding Julius Randle. And now, if JJ Redick comes out and switches that back, he can tinker with things in the middle of the game that we might not be able to project. But overall, this is a great under for Luka at 9 and 8.5 boards. If you can get 9.5, great, but I'm sure it's only going to be at 8.5 now. As mentioned, I think Julius Randle on the points has to be a look here as well. If you look at the only game he's gone under 20.5, which this did jump up from 19.5, might keep going up as well as people keep betting the over for Julius. But if you look at the first game here, took 11 shots, did not get to the free throw line, but they won by 22, right? 35 minutes, actually kind of low for him when you consider he's playing upwards of the high 30s and into the 40s in this series, right? 43, 41, 39 in the last 3. So this 16-point banger, I mean, he shot 55% from the field. He shot 67% from 3 in this game, going 4 for 6. So he wasn't really taking as many free throws, obviously, because he was also going up against LeBron, was happy to take some threes. Then the next game, he gets 9 free throws, 17 total shots, 39 minutes because they lose, so they keep him in there for longer. Same concept for here. They win, but he plays 41 minutes, gets to the free throw line 10 times, right? Still shooting about 50% from the field. Last game, shot 22 times because he has Luka on him and he's just foaming at the mouth to go ahead and get feast of points against Luka. Only 4 free throws, but like I said, 22 shots. If he's going to take either 22 shots or maybe 15 shots with 10 free throws, we're good here, right? We're close to 20 field goal attempts for Julius. And in the games during the regular season as well, I know it's different, it's regular season, but I just want to show you what happens when he does take that amount of field goals, because he's not always taking that amount of shots. But if he's going to take that amount with Luka, then I'm happy. So I'm even just going to take him at about 16 to 20 field goal attempts. Let's say he averages about 18. He's at 23.4 points per game. Actually, probably a little bit more games that he's done that, 21 games. So he's at about 24. This is a 76% hit rate when he's at that amount of shots, 16 to 20, averaging about 18, 17 shots in that time frame. And that's not uncommon here. And like I said, even if he's not taking 16 shots because he's getting to the free throw line, and if you get fouled, you don't get the attempt against you, right? So he's actually taking more shots than is listed here, just that they turn into free throw shots instead of field goals. So we're going to take his usage to stay high. Great matchup with Luka. Do like the points for Julius tonight. As we get into LeBron here, go ahead and give the video a like if you're getting anything out of the analysis here. Really hoping that this stuff is helping you guys as you go to make your plays and whatnot. Also, obviously, appreciate you subbing to the channel so that you do make sure you don't miss any of these episodes as we keep coming out with one for each and every game this postseason. Let's get into the Kang. Let's get into LeBron for a minute. And there's a lot of ways you could play this. I mean, there's a stat going around that LeBron and Luka have the 2 highest points per game averages in the history of the playoffs when it comes to elimination games where they could potentially be eliminated from the playoffs. That's pretty nuts. Both of them are averaging 33 points per game in these situations. Of course, they've never done it together, so it's hard to predict which or both of them goes for 30. Obviously, LeBron's points are rising. Luka is already at 31.5. So I'm not necessarily trying to mess with that, although I'm not going to tell anybody not to bet on LeBron on his points. I think this is a sneaky good look. And shout out my mate here, Nate Weitzer on the lines.com. We have a show together that we do each morning as well. And my boy here really just pointed this out to me, and I could not love it more. And the reason I couldn't love the steals and blocks more is everything we talked about. And I hinted toward this at the top, that he's now not necessarily going to be guarding Randall. And if you keep him off of Randall, you keep him off ball, right? He's not going to guard Randall. He's not going to guard Ant. And those two dudes have the ball in their hands pretty much the whole game on offense. Those are the focal points, primary ball handlers. So if you take him off that, now he's guarding guy off ball. Now he's able to see the whole court. He's able to help off of his guy, maybe go get some blocks, get some steals by getting into the passing lane. That's what he can now do, right? And he's done that now in terms of 2.5. He's done it in the last 2 games against this team. And if you look at him on the season when he plays 40 minutes at least, right? He's done that 7 times. He's at 3 stocks per game. And 2 of those are in these last 2 games where, like I said, he started to play a little bit more off of Julius Randle and on guys who are off ball, freeing him up for this stuff. So this is my favorite bet for LeBron, is the steals and blocks. Might get down a bet on the boards as well for the exact same reasoning that I'm using for the stocks, which is if he's off ball, then he's good for boards. Plus, I mean, he's at 9.7, so he's right at 10 when he is playing about 40 plus minutes, but it's more about the matchup here and where he's going to be on the court. Those are the ways that I would play LeBron stuff. That's not necessarily points. It would be rebounds, and it would be the stocks here as he's off ball on defense now. Last consideration for me in this one is going to be Rui. I think we can still exploit the points for him. We're at about even money. If you're on ESPN Bet, you can get plus money in this one, plus 105. And the reason here, obviously the 23 looks really good. He went 50% from 3, taking 10 of them. I don't know if he's going to shoot 50% again, but I think he's going to shoot a bunch of threes. And the reason is he's now the center on this team, right? If you look at the way that Rudy Gobert guards opposing centers, he doesn't want to guard them out anywhere further from the paint, right? He doesn't want to leave the paint. He's playing what we call drop coverage, so that when guys set screens, he's now, instead of hedging out on the shooter and going up to guard him, he drops back in case somebody drives to the rim or in case they pass to the roll man. He's not trying to leave his guy, right? He's coming back down. So Rui's going to get some jump shots. He's got to make them. That's the hesitancy in taking it. But at even money, for him to do basically what he's done all season, which is score about 14 points per game anyway, we'll call it 13, fine. He needs a point more than what he normally does. And we can probably comfortably rely on another, there's no way he's playing less than 36. Let's put it that way. So in games where he's played 36 minutes, he does get up to about 15 points per game in these situations. And I think he's good for the threes, especially. We're not getting any good odds here on the threes. You're going to have to take 2.5. You're starting to lose me. Rui's not a threes a game guy, but in this matchup, this might be exploitable at plus money for the 3 threes, or you can just take the core point line here at 13.5. Switching gears, let's jump into the Dubs and the Rockets. And I've got some notes for Game 5 as we're back in Houston, and they are looking to avoid elimination, just much like the Lakers here. We've got a couple things that stood out to me in Game 4. These are all the minutes for these guys. So Steven Adams, 26 minutes. Talked about that in the last video. That came true. Udoka clearly wanted to go back to Adams for more because they weren't winning the rebounding battle. And if he doesn't have Adams out there, he doesn't have a guaranteed win on the boards, which they need because they need to hit the offensive rebounds and get points that way because they don't have much of an offense against this incredible Dubs defense as well. Then you saw Jalen Green with 25 minutes. That's huge, right? And I don't know if he's going to be a 30-minute-a-night guy if all that Steve Kerr has to do is toss Gary Payton Jr. out there to guard him, and then he's just a non-factor, which has been the case all season against this team. So keep an eye on Jalen Green unders, even as low as they are now for a guy who's been playing a ton of minutes for the most of the regular season. This series we knew was not going to be good for him. Fred VanVleet and Şengün, those are the 2 guys. That's it. The only two guys that you can depend on are going to get good minutes, probably another 40 plus each. I would say almost definitely short of foul trouble. These two guys looking at another 40 minutes each. I got to believe that. And that's the only two guys I really feel that comfortable with in terms of bets on the over for the Rockets players. Podziemski, Pods, 40 minutes. Led the team last game. Best game of his career. Certainly the best playoff game of his career. Jimmy with 39 minutes and Steph with 39 minutes. And we're going to talk about Jimmy here in a minute because if Jimmy's playing, Jimmy going Jimmy. Let me put it that way. I don't think that there's going to be a world where Kerr throws Jimmy out there and is like, all right, well, we're going to watch his minutes and play him 30 minutes to get the best out of him that we can. I think Jimmy goes, man. It's like it's a bruised butt bone. Like he'll be all right, right? Just don't fall on your butt anymore. I think he could have come back. I know he could have come back in game 3. They just chose to sit him out. And then he played that 39 minutes in this last game. Jimmy going Jimmy in this one. Buddy Hield is in the starting lineup now, I believe. I don't think we're going to see Moses Moody come back. He clearly likes that he has that threat. Another 3-point threat out there so that they can't triple team Steph. They're still going to double Steph. I would imagine they're going to try to at least force the ball out of his hands or keep it out of his hands so he can't even run around screens and get it. They're just going to be watching him. But that's just going to leave guys like Hield open for the second pass away, right? Like the way Steve Kerr is handling this pressure from Houston is brilliant because he's using Hield as the guy 2 passes away. You can't just guard Hield who's near Steph. Buddy's in the corner. Steph's all the way up top. So there's 1 pass to the wing. That's to Jimmy or Pods. And now you can decide as the Rockets, do you want to guard Jimmy or Pods, or do you want to guard Buddy Hield in the corner, who's you're about to leave open for 3? That's going to be what they're faced with all game. I think he's good for another 30 minutes. The only thing here that scares me in general is Golden State Warrior role players in a road closeout game. I don't know if I'm feeling it. Like, I think Quentin Post is still good for another 20 minutes. He's probably good on the PR. Guys like that, I just don't know if I trust him. Like, I love the way Pods played at home in game 4. I'm not sure I want to put him in such a tough spot here to have to do really well. I think it's the Jimmy and Steph show, and they're going to do what they can to shut down Steph. But let's jump into these matchups and how this impacts stuff. Let's start off with Houston on offense, as we see here how the Dubs play them pretty much the way they always have. We're going to see Pods on Van Vliet, Hield on Green to start. We'll see what happens if Green comes out and maybe it's for Steven Adams to get bigger. Not totally sure who the first sub will be. Maybe it's Tari or Jabari, but that'll be the Hield matchup, is whomever they bring in terms of Jabari or Tari, whatever. Curry going to be on Brooks. We know that. And then Jimmy on Amen, right? And we've seen that so that he can try to stop Amen in terms of the getting a full head of steam and going all the way to the rim. And then Draymond just going to be stuck to Şengün all game. Those guys hate each other because they're just facing each other all game every time these teams play. Here's where things switched up a little bit. It's the Dubs on offense and the way the Rockets are playing them on defense. We are going to see Amen on Curry, but we're also going to see Fred Van Vliet on Curry. So those two guys are really switching back and forth, mostly because they don't want to get foul trouble on Amen, I would imagine. Plus, it's exhausting to chase Steph around the whole game. So they can kind of use those guys intermittently to guard Steph. Then you're going to see Jalen on Pods or whomever comes in for Jalen, and then Şengün on Hield. And I think they're looking to sort of keep Van Vliet on Green so that they can sort of keep Van Vliet off of him. And they do like the ability for Şengün to sort of like be a little bit more roaming on defense as well. Like I said, Hield is oftentimes in the corner, sometimes coming up. But what you're going to see is them keep switching, right? So even though we have these matchups the way they are, like Şengün on Hield looks weird. Why is it like that? Well, he's the primary defender on him, but in reality, like he's switching. So imagine that Buddy Hield's in the corner, Şengün is guarding him, and then Buddy Hield goes up top to get a screen. Somebody screens Şengün down. Well, Şengün's just going to switch. He's not going to go chase Buddy up top. He's going to stay down low. So that's a big reason for why he's guarding Buddy, so that he can help off and not have to like get screened and then stay up high, that kind of thing. So gonna like Şengün on some stuff here in this game, but let's go ahead and get right into these play-up props. Let's just start chalky, man. I mean, this is, oh wow, this is at 20.5. I literally hit this at 19.5 like 45 minutes ago, and it just popped. So somebody hit this. I don't think there was news that came out that Jimmy's going to play way more, but I'm still good with 20 and a half. I haven't projected for 24 and a half points in 39 minutes. And I don't think we should get any lower than that. Like, this is that type of game where it's closeout. If you've been there before, then you're about it, like Steph and Jimmy. You ain't been there before, I'm not sure if you're about it, right? For these guys, for the Dubs, like showing up, like Pods, Hield, Quentin Post, Gary Payton, I trust. Moses, don't really trust, right? Any of the other guys that aren't Gary, Draymond, Jimmy, and Steph. Those are 4 guys that I trust that won't be sort of, blinded by the light here. The moment's not going to be too big for them. Everybody else I'm a little bit scared of, honestly. Like, I think at least 1 or 2 role players do well for the Dubs, but I just don't know which ones, and I'm not really trying to guess. I do know Jimmy's going to have the usage. If you want to add the assists and the rebounds, they're still at a decent price, right? I think you're at about 31. Oh, now you're at 32 and a half. Okay, there's still some 31 and a half PRAs left as well for Jimmy. Dog, I swear, I looked at this stuff 45 minutes ago, started recording like 40 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. Everything is gone. At any rate, the PRA is still good. You see what he does in the playoffs here. You see what he's doing when he's getting high 30s minutes. Let's give him 36 at least and see what he's done this season when he plays with Steph Curry in 36 plus minutes. He's at 37.7 PRA per game. Come on now, right? Like, this is too low. We got to give him his flowers as playoff Jimmy. It's opened at 18 and a half points. So I took the points. Now that we get to 20 and a half and the assists and the rebounds haven't moved at all, I do like the PRA as the best number here. But again, it's still a very nice hit rate with the points in a game where we expect him to play a ton of minutes, get to the foul line, another 10, what he did 12 times in this last game. Prior game, he only had 6. And then the first game, 8. The game against the Grizz here, 18. So you see how he's getting to the free throw line against teams like the Grizz and the Rockets who foul a ton. Love Jimmy to get points. Also love the PRA. If I was going to take a role player for the Dubs, it would be Quentin Post. I'd be looking at his PR rather than just rebounds or points. He hooked us after 4 rebounds in the first half, didn't get one in the second half. And that might be what you worry about is down the stretch. I don't think Quentin Post is getting much time. That said, I do think he's getting 20 minutes. And if you give him at least 20, and he's played as much as 27 in this series, but if you give him 20, he's at 16.6 PR per game for this team in 17 games. Just give him 20. Let's give him 20 to 24. Let's not even say he plays 28. Let's say at the most he plays like 20 to 22. He's still at 16, man, 16 PR per game in these situations. So even if he isn't playing that many minutes, which I don't think he will, in fact, let's project him for 18 to 22. Let's say he plays 18 to 22, make this fair. Still at 15. You get my point here, which is that he's very important on the boards for them, especially against a guy like Amin Thompson. He's proven to have really good minutes against them this season, in the postseason rather, in the last couple games. He's doing pretty well. Now, Amin had a good game last game, but he's doing well enough that he can come in and not be a liability, and then he will be able to help them get defense, but rebounds rather. But as long as his defense is on somebody who is not a shooter, then he's going to be good to stay closer to the basket and then be able to help out on those boards. And then they are going to leave him open, right? Like you saw him in this last game, he went 2 for 7 from 3. The fact that he got 7 threes off in 20 minutes tells you that they are leaving him open a bunch and that he's probably a good look again for the points and rebounds combined. As mentioned, I only trust 2 guys on the Rockets right now, and their names are Şengün and Fred VanVleet. That's it. Those are the guys I trust. For Fred, we're down to 4.5 dimes. Don't hate that. It's just that because he's got great numbers against this team with the dimes, just that he only had 6 potentials in this last game, 11, 8, right? And then in the first game, he had 8. So he's at about 8 potential assists in the playoffs right now per game. Is that correct? 8.3 potential assists, which is down 2 per game from his season average. I don't really want to bank on him getting 5 assists on 8 potentials. There's always the likelihood that he gets a few more because he's playing so many minutes. But the points are really, I think, what I'm looking at. And these are also climbing up to 14 and a half. Granted, that's scary for a guy who's only at about 14 on the season, and against this team has shot the ball absolutely piss poor. But that's the thing is, like, he shot the ball piss poor. 2 for 12, 5 for 16, 3 for 13, 1 for 8, 4 for 19, 2 for 8. Finally, then, in the last 2 games, 5 for 14, not great, but at least he made 3 threes, and then 8 for 13, not a lot of shots, but all 8 shots that were made were threes for Fred. So I'm fine with the points. I think the threes are gone in terms of minus 180 for him to hit 3. I'm not trying to mess with that. I know he's coming off at 8, but this is almost like a better under than it is an over on the threes, just because of the plus 130, not because I think he's really going to do it. I'm just saying the odds don't really give you an edge on the over anymore. And the points, 14 and a half, you're starting to lose me, but you can still get 15 plus for about plus money or even money. And I think that's the only way to go. It's he and Şengün that I trust to get points, because the only guys I trust to be on the floor for 40 minutes anymore, as Udoka is just scrambling to find guys in his rotation. All right, y'all, that's all the time we have for today. Hopefully you're getting something out of these episodes. Like I said, go ahead and give that video a like. Definitely make sure to sub to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the stuff we're bringing you the rest of these playoffs. Until I see y'all next, happy betting.